The Israeli strikes began after Gaza rose in protest against the regime's brutalities in the Tel Aviv-occupied Palestinian territory of the West Bank, especially the holy city of Al-Quds. As of today, Israel continues its airstrikes on Gaza by targeting residential areas and killing ordinary people. Despite international outcry, Israel's Minister of Military Affairs, Benny Gantz, vowed more attacks on Gaza to bring what he called total long-term quiet before any truce. However, Tel Aviv's atrocities were not left unanswered. Palestinian resistance groups, as well as Hamas, have retaliated by firing hundreds of rockets toward Israeli-occupied cities. Hamas has successfully launched rockets deeper into Israel, striking the heart of Tel Aviv and flying well beyond. The Palestinian resistance also announced it has fired 15 rockets toward the Israeli town of Dimona, home to Israel's nuclear facility reactor. Meanwhile, the Israeli army says the Palestinian resistance has fired over 1,500 rockets toward different cities in the occupied territories since Monday. Thousands of Israelis have fled to shelters after warning sirens sounded in Tel Aviv in the middle of occupied territories, as well as other regions. Also, a fresh round of rocket barrage has caused sirens to go off in northern Israel for the first time and prompted officials to divert flights from Ben Gurion Airport. Moreover, as a result of rockets fired from Gaza on Wednesday, an Israeli pipeline near Ashkelon was hit, causing fire. Hundreds of rockets have successfully hit targets in the occupied territories, while the Iron Dome missile system has failed to intercept them. The Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif said recent retaliatory attacks by Palestinians show the Israeli claim about the invincibility of its Iron Dome missile interceptor system is a lie.
Israel is being attacked for this reason because it has occupied, invaded, exploited the Palestinian people. And the fact that its Iron Dome is being exposed for what it is not surprising, because I think the will of the Palestinian people is very strong. They will fight no matter what to reclaim their lands. And I think that we can't compare Israel and the Palestinian people. We're talking about Israel, a country with billions of dollars in U.S. foreign military aid, the largest recipient of U.S. foreign military aid around the world.
The U.S. has urged both Israel and Palestine to lower tensions and take practical steps to calm things down. Washington announced it is sending a State Department official to the region. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has requested Israel to do anything in order to stop civilian casualties. However, he defended Israel's right to attack Gaza. He noted that Israel is responding in defense of its people. The U.S. backed Israeli aggression by calling it self-defense while condemning Hamas and Palestinian resistance rocket attacks. That's while the resistance has launched attacks in retaliation. The U.S. says it's Israel's self-defense, but the images tell a very different story. The UN Security Council's second emergency meeting on hostilities between Israel and Palestinians was once again inconclusive due to opposition from the United States. Diplomats said the US saw the Security Council meeting as a sufficient show of concern and did not think a statement would help de-escalate the situation. The first emergency meeting also did not produce a joint statement due to Washington's opposition.
The only solution to the crisis that we see in the Middle East is for Israel to return all of the land back to the Palestinian people. It does not belong to the state of Israel, and the underdog, the people being oppressed, the victims, are the Palestinian people who have all the right to take back their land.
Washington has always been loyal to Israel by shielding it against any threats, including international resolutions condemning their illegal settlements in Palestinian territories and their aggression toward Palestinians. Washington is also providing Israel with fighter jets and bombs that have rained down on Palestinians. The US is responsible for all the innocent blood that have been shed in Palestine, as it is the biggest supporter of the apartheid regime of Israel.